I've got a confession. I'm sick of COVID. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm sad for the sick and dying, obviously. Frontline workers and medical professionals, you're heroes. So grateful for your sacrifices for all of us. And I follow all of the rules, every one of them. But like so many of you, I'm sick of worrying about COVID. I'm sick of hearing about it. I'm sick of reading about it. I'm sick of talking about it. And I am definitely sick of reporting on it every single day. It's too much. There's too much confusion and it's too political. Tell me you haven't heard this. I'm triple vaxxed. So why not just ditch the precautions and move on? As your phone has likely alerted you in the past hour, Omicron is dominant. 3 out of 4 COVID cases all of a sudden are Omicron nationwide. That's brand new data tonight from the CDC. It's taken over, as predicted, but a whole lot faster than I heard anybody say.
All right, guys, so that is former Fox News anchor Shepard Smith, right? Getting the red pill, right? He got it in front of his face. He wants to take it, but he hasn't quite swallowed it yet. But like a whole lot of people out there, right? He's sick and tired of this virus, just like I am, just like I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are, right? But finally, some of these journalists, these mainstream media journalists are actually starting to ask the real questions. Like, what in the world is the purpose of locking down, shutting down all these mandates when it looks like this virus ain't really going away, right? Joe Biden ain't shutting it down like he claimed that he was going to do, okay? And to my surprise, Shepard Smith actually brought on CDC Director Rochelle Walensky to discuss this, and he actually pressed her with some real questions, right? Some real questions. And I want to show some of this interview, but first I got to give my disclaimer because this is a heavy COVID conversation. I'm not making any claims whatsoever about the virus, the vaccine, the pandemic, mask. I'm not making any claims whatsoever. If you have any questions about the virus, the vaccine, the pandemic, the mask, please consult your doctor, right? Please consult your medical professional. I am not making any claims whatsoever, okay? So, YouTube, if you have any issues, take it up with CNBC and the CDC Director and Shepard Smith in regards to claims being made about this virus, because I'm not making any. So without further ado, roll the clip.
Director of the CDC. Doctor, appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time and your tireless efforts for all of us. My God, thank you. Omicron is in like 46 states and countries. How many people has it killed?
Good evening, Shepard. You know, things are moving quickly, and I know people are concerned. Certainly, we have had reported deaths of Omicron around the world, although there have been a minority of them, fewer than we've seen for other variants so far.
Do we know how many?
Maybe if I could just update. You know, those data continue to come in, and not every death has had their virus and their variant sequenced. But those data are continuing to. The reports are relatively few, but maybe if I could just back up and tell you where we are right now, and that is data that you reported that new out of the CDC is that the Omicron variant is now predicted to be about 73% of all of the virus that we have sequenced here in the United States, and that was, as you note, expected based on the growth rates of how quickly Omicron is transmitted across other countries and around the world. We anticipated that this number would be about this high at around this time. But there's so much that you can do now that we didn't know you could and didn't have as possible tools against Omicron just a year ago.
Sure.
And that, of course, includes wearing your mask in public indoor spaces, and we're still encouraging people to do that. That continues to be our recommendation. But then, of course, to get vaccinated and to get boosted when you're eligible.
Of course. And Doctor, I do all that. I try to ever talk about me on here, but I get it. I'm getting it from everyone I know in the whole country. I'm triple vaxxed. I follow all the rules, and they're all over the place, by the way. Why shouldn't vaxxed up people like me just live normal? And then when you get it, hunker down until it's over. Explain to me why that's wrong.
We still are learning a lot. There continue to be studies of Omicron coming in. We don't know yet the long-term manifestations of Omicron, the long COVID that we've seen with other variants. So that would be one reason, certainly, to try and avoid getting it all together, as well as the fact that you could transmit it to other people who are more immunocompromised, older people, family members. So we're really not encouraging that as an activity or as a plan if you can avoid it.
We're so safe around here. I mean, corporate rules, family rules, we are safe. And yet, I know so many people who have it, of all kinds of people and everybody has it. And some people are allowing only vaccinated people to be with them for over the holidays. But everybody's getting it from everybody. What difference does that matter anymore? Does being vaccinated with unvaccinated people really make a difference?
It absolutely does. So here's what I can tell you. Our hospitals are largely full of people who are unvaccinated. Our vaccinated and boosted people are 20 times less likely to die than our unvaccinated people. Unvaccinated people are dying at 20 times the rate of people who are boosted. Severe illness, the vaccines and boosting prevents severe illness in Omicron. And so it's really important to continue to get vaccinated, to continue to get boosted. And so what we really do need to do is make sure that people who continue to be vaccinated and boosted continue to wear their masks to prevent the infections overall.
The data shows, Doctor, I don't have to tell you this, people are not listening. I mean, we're setting records in travel. People who got vaxxed the first time around are not getting the third shot. The numbers are really small. I mean, whose mind are you going to change? I mean, we're trying, the definition of insane is to do the same thing over and over and expect a different response. Nobody's changing. What's our risk of a new variant popping up that just starts killing everybody? You know what I'm saying? It's infinitely worse. Is that just a crapshoot? Is it possible? Help me understand.
The more virus that circulates, the more possibility for variants to emerge. Generally, variants emerge that are beneficial to the virus, and this one was because it was really very much more transmissible. But your question actually leads me to say exactly what I've been saying, which is we need to decrease the amount of virus out there. We do so by wearing masks, by getting vaccinated, by getting boosted, and then working as we have been very hard to do the same around the world.
And before I go, the plan is for a vacation over the New Year's holiday. After being with close quarters with some family over Christmas, then a group of friends, 8 of us, all triple vax, we're going to get on a plane and go to a beach. And we're going to try to have something normal of a life. Is that wrong?
Everyone's going to have to make their own decisions, and every family is going to have to make their own decisions. What I will say is we know how to do it safely. You have to wear your mask, you have to be vaccinated, and you have to be boosted. And in fact, if you're gathering as a family, I would recommend getting tested to make sure for that extra reassurance that people are not gathering when they have a symptomatic infection. If all of those things happen and you continue to do so throughout the holidays, then we're really optimistic that you can do some of the things that you want to do safely, but that there's a lot of parameters around that to try and do things safely.
I like the mask. It kept me warm this morning. It's cold in New York now. I kind of like it. I don't have chapped lips anymore. I don't mind the mask, but I hate COVID. I'm done with you. COVID be gone. Like that preacher said, go.
All right, guys. So I got to give props to Shepard Smith, except for the end where he put on the mask, right? That to me was cringy, right? That was theater. It kind of ruined the fact that he actually really pressed her with some real questions, right? A lot of questions that a whole lot of people have, right? And especially if I'm one of these people that live in the northeast of this country or one of these liberal states like California, and you've done everything they've asked you to do, and for whatever reason you still can't live normal life, okay? Yeah, I would have those questions, right? Those are the questions I would be having. And I would be super frustrated with what's currently going on, right? Because, again, I think it's a perfectly legitimate question to ask. Yeah, if you're vaccinated, and in my opinion, I think it goes beyond that. I just think if you're just a normal person in general, whether you're vaccinated or unvaccinated, considering where we currently are with this virus and what's happening, again, what is the point of locking everything down, okay, and not letting people live their normal lives, okay? Those who are vaccinated, They're vaccinated, and you know, hey, it has benefits, okay? And those who are not, they've made their own choices, okay? They've made their choices with their life, right? So again, at that point, why not just let everybody live their life, okay? Because I mean, look, what we're currently doing right now, we have new variants popping up. So I mean, hey, like Shepard Smith says, you know, if you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, isn't that kind of silly, right? Ain't that kind of silly? And what makes it worse is if you consider the fact that, again, they're doing all this stuff. We're still in the exact same situation, but yet you're creating a divided society where you have vaccinated versus the unvaccinated. And it's almost like we went back to segregation, especially in these blue states up north. Again, this stuff is really affecting people's lives. People are losing their livelihoods, their means of taking care of their families over this stuff just for us to essentially be in the same situation. And it seems to me, according to Miss Rochelle Walensky here, that the plan moving forward is just that, well, people are just going to have to keep getting booster shots, you know, every few months or so, you know, just in case a new variant pops up. And Shepard Smith basically said something that I think a whole lot of people are thinking when they hear something like that. Like, wait, hold on now. I done already got my vaccine, okay? Why do I have to keep getting more booster shots, right? That's not necessarily something that people are going to want to keep doing over and over and over again. People aren't going to want to keep doing it, especially, again, considering how we're still in this situation, right? But again, you know, the thing is that like I've been saying for a long time, these people really don't know, right? And I don't really blame them because science is always evolving. Like at the beginning of this video, when he asked her how many people have died from Omicron, she didn't have an answer. She really doesn't know. And for the life of me, I really don't know, and I don't understand, and Shepard Smith seems to be surprised by this as well. How in the world do you know how many people actually have this strain of the virus so quickly, right? I have no clue. Okay, now I haven't gotten a test in a long time, a COVID test, so I don't know if there's a thing up there that says you got Omicron or what, you know, Delta or whatever. But how in the world in 2 or 3 weeks did it go from just 1 or 2 cases in the U.S., if that, to, oh, this is now the dominant strain in the country? Again, I'm just kind of flabbergasted, okay? Especially considering how, you know, most of the news about this virus is coming out of places like New York that have vaccine mandates, mask mandates, and all types of stuff. Again, I'm just curious. Something ain't really making sense, right? And in Shepard Smith's head, he's starting to really understand, wait. Something's just not really making sense here. Things are just not really adding up, okay? So, you know, again, in my opinion, I think that if you press 99.9% of these journalists on TV about this, they will probably be saying the exact same thing, right? If you talk to them in private, okay, they would be saying the exact same thing Shepard Smith is saying, is that we don't understand why they're doing this. We don't understand what is the point of all this, considering what is currently happening, okay? So, you know, again, I found that interview to be fascinating, and I encourage people to go and watch the whole thing. I haven't seen anybody really put a fire under her butt like Shepard Smith did in that interview, and I thought that this was actually a great example of journalism, asking the real questions that people want to know answers to. And I don't necessarily think that Miss Walensky here, you know, really gave any confidence in people that there's any end in sight when it comes to this thing, especially when it comes to the restrictions, the masks, the mandates, the lockdowns, the recommendations for social distancing. I don't think, at least from their perspective, there's any end to that in sight, okay? So, you know, what that ultimately means is that for these blue states that continue to follow this stuff, that go along with this stuff and try to mandate this stuff, that ain't really going to go away, right? They're going to have to live with it. And again, you know, hey, as you can see, there are people that are following the rules. They're kind of frustrated. And again, I definitely feel like there are more people out there that live in these blue states that feel the exact same way about it, but they don't really want to say it because they might be framed as a anti-vaxxer or something like that, right? Even though, you know, he's clearly in support of trying to, you know, follow all the rules. But let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.